Oh, that's what we do in Matlock?
It was our anniversary, and we was in New Orleans, so I couldn't
What
make
you know about that? Louisiana, you don't know about Louisiana.
It was my first time.
Yeah.
It was my first time.
You know, I own Louisiana.
You own Louisiana?
Mm-hmm. You didn't know that?
I did not.
Yeah, what you think this is? I do own it. That's a state.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I'm not a seafood guy. So
but
the food wasn't really, it was... But my wife is.
Yeah, so if you ain't no seafood guy, yeah, that's where I'm from.
Okay.
From Louisiana.
Okay.
Little town outside New Orleans. I was born in Bogalusa, stayed in Frankerton.
Okay.
But everybody in New Orleans now, so.
Okay.
That's my home.
Yeah, real pleasure. It was a pleasure being there. We had a good time.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get into this conversation. I'm Chris, and I have the pleasure of being here with Coach Ginn. Want to kind of just dive right into a few questions about character development and legacy building. So I just have a couple things I want to touch on. So turning boys into men. Can you tell me some of the core principles and philosophies that you have to guide you through what you do?
Some of my core principles is having love, passion, understanding for young people, especially boys. And we guided by scholarship, leadership, and service. So those are some of the principles that we use here at Ginn Academy to cultivate them to be leaders and global leaders in the century, So that's some of the core principles we go by. Just trying to build them.
Nice. So can you tell me when you decided or when it was put on you to start Ginn Academy? How was that process? Was it something that you just woke up one day and said, this is what needs to happen? Was it something that kind of developed over time? Was it a dream when you were growing up? Why did you start Ginn Academy?
Well, I started Ginn Academy for several reasons, but when we dive into it, I can go all the way back to the 80s, with things that I saw that didn't happen for young people, but basically a lot of things that I do, if you remember Dwayne Shields, he just passed away, one of the best athletes that ever came through. I can remember back when he was one of the first athletes that come through back in like 83, 84, could probably been one of the 6'2", 6'3", just a freak, you know what I'm saying? And I just felt that the community, the schools, and different things failed him. He was being recruited by LSU, and that was unheard of. Coming this far and being in the inner city of Cleveland. He needed a seat in a class. And, I was still coaching because I started coaching in 1976 here. And I never forgot that he needed a seat to get his life straight, to go to
Change the whole trajectory of his life.
Oh, yeah. He's a guy that could play 7 positions on a football field. And probably would have been an all-pro at all of them. It was just, and we knew that, but we didn't understand it because we didn't have this type of mindset around here. We had a teacher, he might have been mad back then, you had to have a 2.0, to go to be the core courses. Your core GPA should have to be 2.0, he needed a C. And what we do, we say, go there, do extra credit, stay after school, came in early, carry bags, whatever it takes, we need a C. And his life is going to be different. This whole community, school system We haven't had this in a long time, but he needed a C. And the educator know he needed a C. But you gave him a D. He did all that and messed his life up. So that C that he should have got turned into crack.
Mm.
You understand? And the D turned into drugs that you gave him. And I've never forgotten that.
Mm.
You understand? And that's why when you hear me talk about, I want to give kids an individual life plan at Ginn Academy. You know, and I do that for those reasons. You know, he was destroyed early, and we don't think about this being in education. So it's favoritism in high school.
Mm-hmm.
You give each kid what he needs to be successful. That's how I feel about Ginn Academy. That's why it's here. It's not no cookie-cutter type situation, because all kids are different.
Mm.
You know, and we have to get to that today. That's what's wrong with today. We can only be educated by what we're exposed to, not what somebody can teach you.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Yep.
You know, so a lot of things that we do in life, and I'm 67, I was exposed to it, starting like that. So, and then years later, I know what happened to my son. I put a system together. And this system that I've been running ever since Christendom was there, ever since the 80s, the 90s, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that that don't happen again.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So then my son went through his things of different schools, people not giving him what he needs, and I became successful with that. So it wasn't fair to everybody else, because they're not getting the right information. Mm-hmm. Nobody has passion or love for them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we ain't got to get an academy, because we're going to break the system. My kids are not going to fail. Mm. That's why Ginn Academy's here. And that's just the elevator speech.
Yeah. No.
We can get deep.
No, so I want to actually pivot a little bit. I'll kind of go off script. So how do you explain, or how do you, because I'm sure it's been asked, so when you have what we just witnessed, a gym full of African boys.
Yeah.
So you have a kid that lives in Orange.
Mm-hmm.
So as a parent,
mm-hmm.
why should I, and there, every school ain't for everybody, but like, what is your pitch if I'm a parent and I have a kid in Orange? If I have a black boy that's in Orange, let's just call it what it is.
That's right.
Why should I bring him to Ginn Academy?
Because we're going to have love, we're going to have passion, we're going to get him proper understanding, and we're going to educate him according to himself. You understand? We're going to give him the wraparound service. That's everybody. If he come in here and he's a A student, then we're going to enhance him from there. If he's a D student, we're going to move him from there. So the thing that I'm telling you that, why is it that we think, because the first thing you're going to ask me, what is your curriculum? That's what you're going to ask me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, my curriculum is different. You understand? I got love, I got passion, I got the understanding. See, the understanding is what we lose at. You understand? Math, science, social studies, and English is the curriculum. That's a requirement for everybody in the world. If yours is better than mine and I'm not getting it, then somebody need to be suing somebody. You understand? Mm-hmm. What is the problem when you in Orange that the teacher won't even touch and say, hey son, hey Charlie, how you feeling today? You accept that. But when you come in here, we're gonna say, hey man, hug you, love you, shake your hand. We're gonna, it's a human side to education, right? Mm-hmm. That they done forgot about it. You understand? You're human. Mm-hmm. All we think about is what number we get on the test. You understand? And you do your math, science, social, and find the circumference of the whole, and that's it. So you know how to break the problem down, you know all that, but we ain't thought about the human side of you. You understand? And then we just let you go out in the world. And what you know how you know what to do? You don't know nothing. But I can go to the board and solve that problem. I can write the baddest letter, and you give me an A for it. But what do I know to do? Have you been exposed to different things of how to navigate through the world? That's what we can do here. We're going to teach you all that. We forgot all about it. For this reason. Nobody's sitting at home saying, I'm old.
Season.
You know, season, you can call it whatever you want. But I didn't have, and I say this stuff, y'all dealing with math, I deal with arithmetic. Whatever the difference is, you understand? Arithmetic was code. Math is complicated. And they trick you with math. Arithmetic didn't trick you. You understand? And you knew how to take that and move it into the world. You understand? We took arithmetic and taught you to go to the bank and have your own bank account. And you deposit your money in, you write your number down, you subtract it when you take something out. We were doing, that's basic stuff. Why are you tricking me? You're tricking me, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just telling you, man, is that the biggest problem with everything, education, school, that's the world. It's one thing missing.
What's that?
In this system, one thing, ain't nobody sitting at the table with nobody. You know what I'm saying? See, when I came along, you had to go to the table. The table was the information center, and at the head of the table was your mother, your father, or your grandparents, and they giving you direction. They said go down to that schoolhouse and do that schoolhouse work, this country stuff now. But when you come back here, you better learn how to do something. I don't care about what you're talking about. You did that requirement there, but you better learn how to live in America, how to survive for yourself. We was on a farm. So that means you better learn how to feed the chicken, feed the hogs, feed the cows. You know what I'm saying? Pick corn, pick cotton. We grew everything to live. And then you don't fall in love with the cow. Don't give her a name because you might have to eat her. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I'm just showing you how it went. Yeah. That's doing something, man. Surviving. We didn't go to the store. We made everything. So that's all education, bro. But what is missing? And nobody sitting at the table to teach kids nothing. We went to school to obey. We didn't go to school to learn. We learned at home. We can get as deep as you want. Well, see, this is something else I want to talk about.
No, go ahead.
We might be off script.
No, go ahead.
Let's use Chris, for example.
Okay.
Baddest dude in America. The coldest. When he didn't understand that he was a football player. He was a basketball player. He was all that. Both of them. He could have been a professional in all of it. Made him play football. Me. So I don't play football. His Uncle Dan, and I don't care what y'all say. This still my family. You know what I'm saying? He's a basketball player. But this is the same thing about education and having the proper understanding now. I'm going to shoot it to you straight. And if Chris in here dancing, I'm going to tell you the same thing. You understand? Great kid. The most athletic guy I've seen. You know what I'm saying? Just like this boy, Shields, Dwayne. I said, Dan, we ain't going to play no football. I said, let's bring him down. You know what I'm saying? Let me talk to him. When he came down and put a helmet on his head, I said, look in the mirror, how you look. You know what I'm saying? But never was exposed to it like that. So how you going to know and learn anything if you've never been exposed to it? Then he decided, I'm going to do it. That's exposure. That's getting the proper understanding, right?
Yeah.
Okay, came out, but we love basketball. But football, you the best. You're a pro. Couldn't see it then. I saw that, right? So what happens in a lot of children's lives, what we're not exposed to are either what we like, but not what we need. So Dan and them know I still have this problem. You take Chris from me because you don't like this dude, but you really wanted him to be a basketball player. You know what I'm saying? And you take him to a place that what's going to pay him, they don't throw the ball. Bedford didn't throw the ball.
I was there. No.
You know what I'm saying? But we gonna bring him over here because you really got basketball on your mind.
Yeah.
And you found an excuse to take it. You took him out of his greatness. And this is me now. And this ain't nothing because I love them. These my people. You know, this ain't no hating or nothing. And we talk about all the time. And I get on Dan all the time. And you took him, but what people never forget, Chris was leading 3 or 4 other kids. Their life is not where it should have been. But if Chris would have stayed here, see, service work is everybody. We didn't think about the leadership that he had. You talking about Cash and Red and all of that. Can you imagine? He was the leader. We took him from that for ourselves because we already exposing ourselves to something that you think you know and you don't. Then you tell me, I say, again, I don't believe you. I said, okay. I said, I'm telling you who he is. So you take him there. At this time, he should have been, all these people you hear him talking about, Chris should have went to Michigan. At the time, they was rolling. But no, we're going to go to Wisconsin called basketball again.
Yeah, he did it for a year.
Can't do it. But if you know the business, you can't do 2 major sports like that in college. So now you go somewhere else again where they just run the ball. Wisconsin. But all based on your understanding. You go to Wisconsin, where you should have went to Michigan, where they was throwing the ball. You understand? You go to Wisconsin, and they running the ball again, Bedford running the ball again, and you don't go to Michigan. So what do that do? Now we go from being in the top 10 pick to the second round because of the decision on what you like and not what he needs. See,
I heard that. I never heard that angle.
But I'm telling you, I live with that. So you ask me why I do a lot of things, bro. I seen this stuff. It hurt Chris from high school. See, we don't know what we're doing in high school to destroy children.
I'm gonna say another name. And tell me because I'm close with this family too.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say another name that you probably gonna have.
Same thing. You know, that's my dog.
Yeah.
That's my boy.
Yeah.
Same thing. We think we're doing right with our children. But I say this, bro, because you just left New Orleans. I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. I went through that, bro, but I went through it early. I went through it with my own son. He was a 6th grader, a 5th grader. You always think that you're doing right through education for your kid. Everybody wants the best for their kid. If you look at Tweet back at Toledo, he hold the record of passing there. But you look at Donald McNabb, do you see Tweet?
Yep. Yeah.
Maybe even better. But nobody has that type of expectation. And he wasn't thinking like that. He was just thinking to play football, go to college, give me a degree, and that's it. And then come on, give me a job.
You talking about Tweet?
Tweet.
Yeah. You know what's so crazy? So I was having a conversation with him. We were at a Toledo game. We had both. I had graduated. No, we had both graduated because we was watching the game. And Bruce Grakowski was there. And I asked him, I'm like, because I played with Tweet. I've seen gifted.
Naturally.
But people always said Bruce was like that, like people kind of knew like he was the guy. And I asked him what makes him? And he was just the way he studies, the way he works, and the way his approach. He was like, I mean, honestly, I just wanted to play. Like I just wanted.
That's it.
And But he told me that.
Yeah.
He did tell me that.
Because nobody taught me. Nobody had that type of expectation. You know what I'm saying? I try to teach all the kids that today. Because of that. That dude, that should be sitting at home, having a foundation, got money, 10 million in the bank, sitting around going.
Like Russell Wilson, like that's Tweet. Like that's the same guy. Like that's the same
He's better
guy.
than them.
Yep.
I'm just telling you what I know. That right there, Tweet, Red, all them kids right in there, I know all why those kids end up like they did. That's why Ginn Academy is here, bruh. I don't care what nobody talking about. I just on that Zoom call there. It's more about educating all of us as African American people. We don't know that we the show. The only thing we the show when it's the sport. But we the show in running this whole thing. We can go anywhere we want in the world and do whatever we want. They keep us like that with all these different little things. They keep us where we don't have the confidence or even have the expectation for this. You know, nobody told you you could be a millionaire. Only we can be the millionaire. You just go to work, get you a job, get your credit card, and get you some bad credit, and get you a house note that's over your head, and just think you're living. That's how we was taught. Nobody's teaching it. No, we want to own it. We want to do it all. We're going to be the best at it. That's what's happening here, bro. You understand? It ain't just about all the football players you see. I don't like that. What about the lady that had 4 kids here? She's dead and gone. We had to raise her. She said 4 kids. She had 1 eye and 4 boys that she brought through here, and they were starving. But if I had my inner city boarding school, I could have took care of all those kids, and she would have never suffered. You know what I'm saying? We have to, every time it was Thanksgiving, whatever, pay the light bill, all that. And none of those kids were football players. One of them just showed up the other day. And they all successful. And she's dead. You know what I'm saying? See, so I don't, when everybody's talking about all this, bruh, y'all don't have a clue. I know what I'm doing. I'm serving. I'm doing what God told me to do, and I'm obligated to it. I'm not working. You really think I'm working? No, I'm serving. I get up to get down every day, because that's what we all supposed to be doing. And that's the real talk, man. You never understood. You never knew them stories about Chris. You never knew the story about Tweet. Tweet was a guy that's just want to play real mild, but is a mean in the mind. You know what I'm saying? But if he took those same thing in his mind and made it his world, you wasn't playing football, Tweet. You were a professional. But he was still playing. Because nobody can turn him and say, no, dude, this is who you really are. I said, all those are why I have this. See, I wasn't head of nothing. I was just coaching him.
Right.
But I'm telling you, that boy right there is better than any of them. I can just name them, bruh. Troy Smith, Heisman Trophy winner. What do y'all think Tweet was? Heisman Trophy winner. But he put in the right system and had a higher expectation. You'd have seen it.
So, talk to me about why the school is located where it is, other than maybe it being up in the heights a little bit, or, you know, closer to an area that might...
Safe.
So just spit it out.
Safe.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't heard some of the things that have happened in our state and across the country. Was they in the hood, or was they outside? I'm proving to you that what you think it is and what it looks like is not that. You understand? I'm in the hood because these are the people that need this. but I can kind of control it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to go to a place, suburban place that I know they're gonna give me everything I want for them. But you ain't gonna give me everything I want for the children. But for them, you'll give me everything you want for your system and your kids, your community, your area. Or would you give me everything they need? They won't. Because that's not what we do. We stick to our curriculum, we stick to our system, we stick to all that, and that's what make us. But that ain't what's gonna make us. You know what I'm saying? We stick to our standards, you know, but your standard might won't help us. And it's not really helping yours either. Because I can show kids. I remember we used to bring kids from Solon down to Glenville. And we send kids from Glenville to Solon. The kids at Glenville go to Solon, they talk about Glenville and what happens to them. The kids from Solon come and talk about their community center, talk about all that kind of stuff. We ain't got no community center. All we do is talk about the family of Glenville, the family of Ginn Academy. And the kids will see, the teacher told me she loved you, or she touched you, or he hugged you. They don't do that to us in Solon. They tell you go to the board. And that's your number, not your name. You number 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you got your grade next to it, and we're gonna keep the standard of educating you. But I told you it's a human side to education that nobody care about. And it is. And it's nothing mandated to make you care about it. Just attempt to educate them on the standard of the book.
So, legacy-wise, you know, you've been doing this. You know, the school hasn't been here since the 80s or 90s, but you've been doing this a long time. You've been led a lot of young men. So we just had you know, there's a lot of, you know, kind of pivoting towards like football. So there's a lot of coaches around, good football programs around, and we just had one that just played his last game, coach's last game, which is Kyle over at St. Ignatius. Can you explain? I don't know if you guys have a relationship or their program at St. Ignatius. I know for a while that I don't know. Were you guys playing them every year? Ignatius every year.
See, but that's what the world see. That's what everybody say. Oh, Glenville plays St. Ignatius. But we way deeper than that. It's my friend. Nobody never knows that. Everybody think it was just about the war, the fight, the game. But we, you know, I feel like my friend has left me. You know what I'm saying? We went to the Hall of Fame together. You know what I'm saying? We're like this. He has his standard, just like I have my standard. He loves his kids, he teaches, and we raising children. He doing it at the St. Ignatius. I'm doing it at Ginn Academy, Glenville. But we all have the same concept and the same purpose. Championships look good, that's all the people know. And he got a lot more championships. He got a lot more than just what you see on that TV. He have raised a lot of children. He have put the best kids in this world to keep the world going. That's the same thing with me. You understand? Yeah, if it's football or track, both of us coach, but that ain't what it is. That's a soldier. And that's a soldier have left and did a good work. You know what I'm saying? And so we're gonna miss that. And I'm not knocking nobody that's taking his place, but it's gonna be tough to keep that same thing going because we don't want the football and the track to get in the way of the purpose. Because it will. Just like every time I look, I said, Coach Ginn the coach, Coach Kyle the coach. That's not what we're really doing. We coaching life. We saving lives, and that's a man just leaving and saying we got plenty of children coming. Hope that the next person pick up where he left off and have the same purpose.
So dive a little bit more on that. Where and how did you guys' relationship start?
Well, it probably started. Well, I'm gonna tell you where it started for me. When I started out, I used to, because it was singing the nations all the time, I would just look and see, well, what are he doing? How he doing it? What is his purpose? So when we competed, we used to sit down and talk. We'd talk on the phone, and we competed in football, we competed in track. But I got to know him that that's not what it is. So through our conversation, we became this. So we really stopped playing each other. It was good for everybody else. It was good for the communities. It was good for the so-called rivalry in St. Ignatius and this Glenville. Because we put on a good show. You understand? Because he had great teams. And I had great teams. But the problem of it is that if I win, he's hurt. If he win, I'm hurt. So if I win, I'm hurt because he lost. And he hurt because he won and I lost.
Wow.
So we could never get that relationship and that feeling together. So we just quit playing each other.
Wow. I bet you a lot of people don't know that.
No, we don't know that. But he knew it. So it was no win situation for us. So we stopped. Now if we meet in the playoffs when our Division I, that's something different. We weren't gonna do that no more.
I think that's really eye-opening. That probably the two of the most iconic football coaches, and on the track side.
On the track side,
and on the
too.
track side, because we talk a little bit about that too on the correlation. Because I think the philosophy is the same, that they both go hand in hand. That your principles lie a lot deeper than just the sport, like your
game.
Yeah.
See, so we decided that, because it was a no-win situation for us. Now, if we had to do it in the playoffs, that's something different. But it was bad, bruh. Couldn't do it. Probably the best thing that happened for me, I got out of Division I. And that's good, for the purpose of him. All the respect in the world, man. Because I kind of started patterning his style after, when I first started. It was so many people when I started that didn't want me to be a football coach. The head coach, because they said I ain't know nothing. I didn't have no degree. I didn't have nothing. I don't know nothing. I can tell you some stories, bruh. Some college coaches that laughed at me. Some coaches around here that laughed at me, but if you don't know how to paint, and you've been hanging around painters for 20 years, I think you can cut a corner with a brush. You know what I'm saying? Every now and then, you know what I'm saying? And that's where people get education mixed up at. Education is not what somebody can teach you and give you a piece of paper to say you educated. Education is what you've been exposed to. And then I've been exposed to all this stuff. So that's the reason I know how I feel and the concept that I have. You understand? Just like I said, if you hang around painters for a while, after a while you can cut a wall.
So talk to me about that first wave. Like, you talked about Chris and the tweet, but talk to me about like when things started to shift nationally. Like obviously probably
Pierre probably started it in 2000 when I became the coach in '97. But we really had national guys before. It's just they weren't promoted like that, and the expectation wasn't there. But I got in my van with me, Pierre, Soup, and Ted. And I might have one other guy. I drove 5,000 miles all over the country because I wasn't waiting for them to come to me. I'm going to them.
Was anybody doing that when you started?
Well, I'm going to tell you.
I know the answer, but I just...
You? No. Wasn't nobody doing it, but I was always kind of behind the scenes taking kids places. Coaches used to say, oh, you going to listen again? You'll be home by September. You can't go to Cincinnati. This before I was a coach. Because y'all didn't have the expectation or the guts to make our kids feel they could be that. So I was already doing that little stuff on the side anyway. But when I really started, see, it's a thing called the Ted Ginn concept. If I had the Sports Illustrated here, I'll show you. Pierre is on the front of it. There's a story in there about me and him. The NCAA put a rule out, they call it the Ted Ginn rule. Because that dude in Ohio, which was me, cheated. Said when I took Pierre all over the country, said I was cheating. So that's when you go to colleges now for camps. You can't offer a kid a scholarship like that. But you can go around the corner to McDonald's office. But on your campus, you can't do that because of the Ted Ginn rule. It's a lot of stuff you don't know. But that's because I took my one kid and made you look at it. Because you want to come here for the concept that people have about inner city kids.
And so Pierre got the ball rolling.
Pierre started. Then I can go all the way back to Ted and with Ohio State, really didn't want inner city kids. In the inner city of Cleveland, they gonna take them St. Louis and all that. I had a meeting with Andy Geiger. I could just go on and on and on. Yeah. So it's a lot of things, man. To pave the way for the kids today, it's a lot, bro. And then in that same situation, when you serving like that, and I'm doing what I'm doing, what about the kids that go and then can't make it? Then they say, oh, we ain't going back there no more. Because them kids really can't make it. No, you couldn't accommodate the kid. The kid's gift is the sport. The other stuff, you got to be there. So I have to teach that now with the kids because they'll fail on the next level. You know what I'm saying? So all that I do all the time, but then you run the risk of a university saying, well, I'm not coming back there because this kid here, I had one of them. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't do the work or either he wouldn't be on time or whatever it is. You really...
So I got a question as a parent, and for any parents that's going to be watching this. So when looking at colleges, and like you said, that there's some kids that go and succeed, there's some kids that go and the school can't accommodate. So as a coach, who you're heavily involved in the recruiting, as a parent, when coaches are talking to you and your kid, like what are those things that parents and athletes should be looking at, or what are some of the questions they need to be asking these college coaches?
Well, it's really not many questions you can be asked. First thing they don't talk about, well, our academics is this, and then you're gonna be this gonna happen, that gonna happen. You know, when you leave here, you'll get your degree, and you're gonna live happy ever after, right? Yeah, they talk all that, right? But it's always football, bro. The parent got to understand it's football. They're going to give you all that stuff you need to have, but it's really football. You know what I'm saying? They will do everything they can to keep you eligible, but it's football. You know what I'm saying? No matter what you say. And then now with today's time, it's tough to get scholarships because now the portal. So you might not even get no questions. And it's tough. So now you got kids that probably could have played in lower Big Ten, played in the MAC, probably got to play Division II now. Because nobody did. Because why would they want to take and make a pizza and then put in the oven wait for it to get done when they can just go in the chef the one already done? So all this have changed in the last couple of years. But the parent can say, well, you got questions. There's no question too smart, too dumb to ask. But the question of it is, can they follow up on it? No, that kid got to follow up on it. That kid got to do it. They got things in place. You understand? They're going to help you get your degree. They're going to give you your tutoring. They're going to do whatever you need. But it's still football. You know what I'm saying? Because this coach has to keep his job. That's what he's coming to you. So I teach my kids that you go into an entity that you have to serve. You understand? And then it serves you back by giving you a degree. You understand? So you might go to, and you might never play. But that's over with now. Because with the portal, just like these kids can jump on it and go, they can throw you on it. So you used to be, you get your scholarship and you got 4 years and they got to keep you. They don't have to keep you now. They can say, I think you need to get in the portal because you're not going to play here. So this game done got tough, man. So as parents and different people like that, they're going to be hitting you upside. Well, why my kid ain't getting this offer? Why my kid not getting this offer? Why? You have to be super now. And even the super people might not get the look they want. You know, it's bad, bro. I'm just telling you how it is. I've been in the game for 30-some years. But that's what it is. So the parents need to understand the bottom line is you are there, they're investing in you. You understand? And what you're going to get out of the degree. Everything else is a bonus on your path. You got to go do it. So
that's good stuff. I think probably the one question that I want to make sure I get in before we wrap up is, I know you're in the middle of a project and we kind of caught you talking about it a little bit, but tell us about this docuseries, this thing you guys are putting together. I think we're kind of excited to see it.
I just think it's an opportunity before I die to really educate people about education. I mean, I have my own understanding about it. I think I've seen so many people lose out in life, and I've seen so many people be successful. Everybody got a story, whether successful or not being successful, or not being who you really could have been. And I think that the system handicaps us. Every night we talking about the system in us. You know what I'm saying? I just think that if I didn't have a system for my son, he never would have known him. If I didn't have a system for Troy, Dante, and I still claim Chris.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I just think that the system and people made him be an underachiever. And it wasn't based on him, because he's a good kid. And that system that people think didn't help him. And so that's a lot of I want to be able to educate people. If I could take nothing and make it something. And I'm going to start my own. My kid was a bum as a ninth grader. He was the worst student. He became the best in America in 2 sports. Number 1, track and football. Adrian Peterson and Ted was the 2 top high school players. But he was nothing if I allowed that system to kill him. You understand? I could go on and on. And he came in the bottom of his class and graduated in the top 10 of his class as a ninth grader. Wow. Some of these people you see now pat him on his head, what a nice young boy. I said, you know what they tell you, Ted? A good way to say you ain't nothing. We got to go to work. By the time it's out, we were one of the top runners in the country, in the world. You know, so those are the things, man, that bothers me today. You're not you're not that far away from how you was raised and what you've been exposed to. So you can see that in me. I'm not just talking. Then you got the joker over here that say, oh, he just talking, he want to win a state title. He want to win football game. So even when I started Ginn Academy, so don't give him no school, he just trying to have an academy so he can get all the football players. No, Ginn Academy has no sports. I want to educate. I want to give them love, passion, and understanding. And so they can be productive people in the world. I can't do it because football and all that get in the way of the purpose. Come on, man. And then I got to sit back and listen to people that take their kids other places and find out that, would you love me? And find out they're not going to love you. They're just going to tell you to go and sit down and follow their standard and their system and never look at the human side of the child. I'm just telling you how it go, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that bothers me. Because I believe I can take care of the whole world. But everybody got to believe in it. My favorite quote with the kids, they wear the wristband on their arm. Believe first and learn later. Spiritual, bro. You know? So all these things, man, it irritates me. And when I mean like that, it's just my heart for the people. My heart for the children. Who really care? Or do we care about our system and our standard and not the system and the standard that's individually needed for that child? This is how it go. You know what I'm saying? And just like I got 350 kids, 320 kids, man, I can't miss a day. If I miss a day, they'll lose hope. Ain't that crazy? And and some of them I probably don't see it, but they just want to see my face.
So I got a question. Although we would like to think you're going to be around for another 100 years. So what's the succession plan?
I don't know. That's when I'm here. I tell my son, but just like anybody's child, they don't want
to be in them.
It's
got to be the other one.
That's right. Got to want it. You know, and like I said it to my son, I got other kids that came through the system right now. I got 2 or 3 teachers that came through the system from Ginn Academy. Now they're teachers in position to be principals. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to educate some of my own kids to take care of this. Give back to what was given to you. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard because we we was taught to get it and go. We haven't been taught to get it and give back. Yeah. But I do. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like I tell my son, I can only be successful and my successor can only be when you take over what I've started. And that's where I can be successful.
Well, I can tell you from, the limited time, and it hasn't been a whole lot of time I've spent with your son, but I remember the last time I did have a conversation with him. I don't know what was going on, but I tell you the level that he holds you to is phenomenal. Like I would hope that my sons would speak as well of me as Teddy does evil.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you that. You
Yeah,
know,
right.
he does very well.
Yeah. But you know, they're all young.
Yeah.
I'm still dad.
Yeah.
So, you know. But that's what we do this for. For, you know, your kids to love you and you love your kids. But he got to know that it's about serving people. Because the world has nothing for us. It's sad, bruh. You know, what do we live for? What do we work for every day? What you do on your job? I'm in a position to serve and to help people. And that's what God died on the cross for us to serve each other and help somebody. He paid the ransom. Jesus, he paid the ransom. You know, God sent his only son. I don't know if I could do that. But that's how I go, right? You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I did the chapel last week for my team who was at, before we played the team, we just played Ginn Academy. And I went from Galatians 6 and 9. You don't get weary and well doing. That chapter killed me. Because so many things came to pass, you know. Part of that chapter means to sow. Paul was talking about sowing into the spirit. I mean, like planting something in your spirit. The main part was the cross, you know, and you got to believe in the cross to get to where you need to go. And then in that scripture, it really talking about glorifying God. And then I had another part of it where I talk about failure. So it was 3 parts. I talk about sowing, the cross, and failure. But the chapter is really about glorifying God. So 11 months ago, we bought to glorify God by winning state title. But we undefeated. We haven't lost a game. You understand? But we can't stick together because some people, they say, we on the boat, we sailing. We can see it. We're in the middle of the ocean, we rolling. You understand? But to get to this point, to get where we're trying to go and to glorify God, some people had to sow seeds 11 months ago. And then we expect a harvest. The harvest is going to be championship. But there's some people didn't sow no seeds. And there's some people sowed just a few seeds. But the people that didn't sow no seeds, well, the people that sowed seeds, we pray for rain. Mm-hmm. You understand? Because the rain going to ignite the seed, and we going to have a harvest. But you got some people that say, man, I'm not sowing no seeds. So now when it rains, they frustrated. That's when we're in the 3rd, 4th round of the playoff. They frustrated. Why are we here? Because you ain't sow no seeds. So you become a weed. And what is a weed? A weed is like a dandelion sitting in your grass like a flower. Mm-hmm. But it's really there to choke out the good grass. Mm-hmm. And we got some of them here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is just, I'm just giving a little snippet of how I deal with the kids. Then I showed the second part of that scripture is the cross. The cross is the key. That's God. That cross, you have to believe in and trust it. You know what I'm saying? But then just like them guys that didn't sow the seeds, that didn't do that, they gonna get frustrated again because they're not playing. They don't clap their hands or whatever, and they'll trick you and say, man, that cross ain't real. We don't have to be no team. We don't have to listen to the coach. And you fail. The third part of failure. A lot of people start out with, and this is in the scripture. A lot of people start out together, but can't finish because they stopped believing in the cross. And some of them didn't sow no seeds, but they still here. And they on the boat. We on the boat selling, we undefeated. And then one thing that we have to understand, and I told the kids that the people that don't believe in the cross is gonna fail. But if you know anything about scripture, we know the cross never fails. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So now you got all this together and we selling, going to what we promised to glorify God, and that's when the state title. But in the process, this ain't just for the kids now. It's for the adults too. Then I start giving examples, right? I said, then when I call it, this is what I call, here we on the boat, we selling in the middle of the ocean, and we got the people who want to jump. You want to jump off into the ocean where the alligators, where the sharks, without a life jacket. I said, so let me give you some examples. I got kids and people right here, the coach might call and say, I won't be at practice today. And he think that excuse is good enough, but we forgot about we promised 11 months ago that we going to be able to glorify God by winning the championship. But we ain't going, but whatever your excuse is, you done jumped. You understand? Mm-hmm. Then I got kids that say, I'm not playing, so I don't feel like clapping my hand. That's a jumper. Then you got the kid who say, I can't wait to this season. I'm going to transfer to St. Ed. I'm going to Cleveland Heights, or I'm going to Maple or somewhere. That's a jumper. You understand? These are the things that you got to understand when you're trying to achieve something. I don't care what you're doing. You're going to have people that can't last for selfish reasons. It's jumpers. You know what I'm saying? So that was a little something that I did with them on Saturday, but then I had to deal with the Lyric Catholic, because they got a big article talking about is David and Goliath. Man, don't call me Goliath. That's what he's a Christ hater. He was a heathen. Mm-hmm. So you saying my kids, my program is heathen, man? That was a big problem. So I used that as fuel. Mm. You know what I'm saying? So you saw what the score was.
Yeah. So round up by asking this. So football wise, how many state champions Glenville have?
0.
And how many Final Fours have you guys been in?
Mm-hmm. Maybe 2, 3.
2 or 3.
4. Gotta be more than 2 or 3. Probably about, we don't won the regional championship, and we done went to the state twice, so I might have lost in the Final Four maybe 3 times or whatever.
Trying to make history this year.
Trying
to make history this year.
But it don't matter. I don't want plenty of state titles, bro. When you win a soul, you win it. Them state titles. Mm-hmm. When you win a child, them state titles, man. Like, I don't care about them. I don't care about it. I care about it for the children. I care about it for the community, stuff like that. But for real, personally, I want to win for them. I want them to win. But that's a lot of work to keep these kids focused for 14, 15, 16 weeks. Is tough. Because they don't see what you see. They don't see it.
Well, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your time.
I appreciate you stopping by and talking. You
Absolutely.
know, this is what it is. You know, this is life work, and we need to talk about it every day.
I agree.
You know, people not paying attention. They look at the Channel 8 every day and see the same mess. Mm-hmm. But how did the mess get there? Think about that. Was your dollar more important than their life?
Good stuff.